You guys ready? I'm excited. I haven't watched a Monster Hunter video in a while. It's been a long time since I watched a Monster Hunter video, and I've been putting off watching this one just for this. And it's 10 theories about Monster Hunter Wilds. So there's no new information about Monster Hunter Wilds in this. But there's theories, because the Monster Hunter community loves to theory craft like so fucking hard. Like Monster Hunter Twitter cannot stop themselves. Okay, 1 second. Let me, do I got a burp? Yeah, okay. There you go. I'm good. I'm good. Okay. Let's watch some theories about Monster Hunter Wilds. Wilds.
Like everyone else in the Monster Hunter community, I am currently excited out of my mind for Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yay!
And like everyone else, I am very, very impatient for the news that we will be getting in summer and the eventual game release in...
Oh yeah! Wait, when's the game release? That's in June, right? Like yeah, we get this in June, right? Dude, that's like 2 months away. I'm excited.
2025. So, because I am currently kind of in between things, and because the hype for the original trailer has died down a little bit, and everyone is a little more cold-headed, I figured I'd throw my hat into the ring and talk a little about what I thought of the trailer, and
Dude, what did I say? I even called it theory crafting, didn't I?
specifically what theories I have of things that might be or might not be in Monster Hunter Wilds. I just wanted to be something low stakes and a little fun, just thinking about all the possible things we might be seeing in the new game next year. Now, the first theory that immediately started floating around after the trailer...
Wait, okay, I want to see if I can guess these. I want to see if I can guess this. Is the very, very first theory going to be open world? Is that going to be the first theory? Let's see if I'm right.
was, is this new game going to take place in the new world?
Oh, I was wrong. Never mind. I really thought it was going to be that.
The continent that Monster Hunter World was situated in. That's a fair question. It's an odd thing that we got this new continent in one game and just haven't really heard of it since. Monster Hunter Rise was, if you're unaware, entirely in the old world continent, and possibly in Fun Run depending on where you think the Forlorn Citadel is, but that's a separate topic.
I think I don't know about that article. I know what article you're talking about. There was like there were supposed leaks that came out that proved that it was going to be open world, but I have no clue if that was legitimate or not, and I kind of tried to avoid it because I'm just gonna I just want to wait and see what happens instead of like worrying about leaks. So there's been no new vids, but we should get a new video in like 2 months because it's gonna be at the next gamey thingy mabob. So we'll have news on Wilds like super soon.
The trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds gives us a few hints that might lead us to think that it's in the new world. Most pressingly, the hunter appears to wear a slinger and a scout fly cape.
I remember seeing this and everyone losing their shit about this, right? Because they're like, they have scout flies, they have a slinger, and I'm just really hoping, like, okay, I might be unpopular opinion here, but I hope that's not the case. I hate scout flies. I'm hoping that that's just like either an ode to Monster Hunter World, or they're at least, if they do have some form of scout flies, it's going to be a fucking like new take on them. Because I despise scout flies, and I never ever want to see scout flies again. I could actually be happy without slingers again as well. I would be very happy without both those things. But if I had to choose, I'd take slinger over scout flies. Yeah, scout flies are directionally challenged. They suck. They annoy me. And I never want to see them again.
Now, this is not entirely conclusive. Both of these things could just be accessories to the armor set that he's wearing.
Thank you.
It definitely looks like it, so it's worth considering. There's also the fact that the new world remains largely unexplored, so there is a lot of potential for wherever this weird grassy plain might be. Another interesting find is that in this piece of Monster Hunter World concept art, which depicts the Second Fleet's smithy, we can see a symbol hanging above the smithy that looks...
Why haven't I seen that? Why? I never saw this. Why? I never saw Twitter like freak out about this. You guys see it, right? You see it? He's talking about this. Oh my gosh, it's like it's the fucking logo from Wilds. Like it's like okay, all right, I'm intrigued.
Suspiciously like the game logo for Monster Hunter Wilds.
I'm in the way,
This
but
symbol
yes.
does not appear in Monster Hunter World.
Wait, here, I move. You got to see the comparison. You got to see. Look at that. Look. It's so fucking similar. Holy shit. All right, you got me. You got me intrigued, sir. I am intrigued. It looks like so like look, this right here is like this right here. Like look at that. This is this. It's like it's half of it, kind of. Like or like it's like the middle piece almost of this. It's not 1-to-1. It's definitely not 100% exactly the same, but you know, they could have just changed designs over time. But like it's similar. It's similar.
But it is seemingly present here in the concept art. And I think it kind of looks like it. It's worth a thought, at least.
I see
so,
it.
Perhaps this new game will take place in the new world with us as part of an expanded research commission. I don't think so, however, for a few reasons. One, I don't think we could ever be part of the research commission, at least not as it is characterized in Monster Hunter World and its lore, because there, the Research Commission is a fairly small organization with an extremely specific goal, which was to investigate the Elder's Recess. Once that is done, I can't really imagine us seeing an expanded version of that effort, unless of course they write new lore, which they always could. But also personally, I hope it's not in the new world.
I mean, same.
While I love Monster Hunter World and I think it would be really cool to see more of this continent, I also think there's so much left on the old continent that we haven't seen.
Also, didn't they flat out say that they're never going to be doing sequels again, right? So if they're never going to be doing sequels again, why would they put Wilds in the same like continent universe or whatever as Worlds? Because they flat out said no sequels. So I think it's more likely that it's going to be a new area.
It's interesting that we got this original map back during the Monster Hunter DOS and Freedom Unite days, and how much of it we just haven't touched since. So if I had to choose, I would definitely prefer if it took place in the old world with an actual world map. For the love of God, Capcom, please just give me my world map. This next one isn't as much of a theory as it's seemingly been confirmed, but when the trailer first dropped and when people saw...
Yeah, like, but if they were to make it how he was talking about how it could, people were saying we'd be like on the committee or whatever, that would make it like pretty sequel-ish versus like being like on the same world but different, if that makes sense. Like if it was like just like we're part of the committee or whatever, that'd be pretty sequel-ish to me. And that would be like, that would be way too similar versus being like different. I'm not explaining that very well. If it had too much connections to worlds other than just being in the new world, then it would be very sequel-ish. Being in the new world would be okay, but like being, because he was talking about being on the research committee thingy, and that would be too sequel-ish to me.
That it felt very much like a second part to Monster Hunter World, the elusive Monster Hunter World 2.
So like this will never exist because they said they'll never do Monster Hunter, they'll never do sequels, so it would never be Monster Hunter World 2.
If you will. A lot of people were wondering who would be directing the game. Well, wondering seems to be over because Yuya Tokuda has seemingly confirmed that he will be directing Monster Hunter Wilds. Tokuda was one of the directors for Monster Hunter World, specifically being in charge of game design.
He's
now
so
that's
happy.
really exciting. Tokuda is an absolute veteran and a Chad within the Monster Hunter team. He soloed Monster Hunter 1 Fatalis, apparently, according to a thing I'm currently translating. So he is an OG guy, and his involvement in World was felt very positively. Base World had a massive focus on tangibility and the interconnectivity between environment and story, and the way the player engages with it. If you think about all the different ways in which you can engage with endemic life in Monster Hunter World, the well-realized ecological shifts between environments, such as the high and low humidity areas of the ancient forest, or the coral highlands and the rotten vale, looking at all of that, it does give you the impression that Tokuda's involvement might herald a return or even an enhanced focus on environmental cohesion and capital E ecology. It's weird to say this because when World first came out, everyone was calling it baby's first Monster Hunter. But compared to Rise, Monster Hunter World was a more grounded game.
Okay, but if you take Rise out of the equation, World was baby's first Monster Hunter. Let's be real. Take Rise out of the equation. It was. You can't deny it.
A game that felt much more invested in trying to create atmosphere and vibe through the environment rather than just through moment-to-moment combat gameplay. In that sense, it might be a departure from Monster Hunter Rise's more power fantasy-esque approach to game design. Basically what
I'm gonna laugh. I will fucking love Capcom so much if they were like, fuck you guys, and they make us farm whetstones again in Wilds. I will be so happy, and everyone will hate me for it. But it would be great.
What I'm trying to say is that Wilds is probably going to be
everyone being like, please no. Oh, I'd be so happy though, dude.
much closer to World than it will be to Rise, and it might inherit many of World's design decisions regarding how to play.
If whetstones come out in Wilds, you can blame me. I'll accept this. It's okay. I'll accept the blame, and I will love every minute of it.
Engages with the environment. And even if I'm wrong, I'm just glad to have Tokuda back. He seems like a really, really solid pick for a game like this. Another thing that was immediately on everyone's mind was, what's up with that raptor? Monster Hunter Rise introduced mounts with the Palamutes, which felt like a really natural extension of palicos, as you know, dogs and cats. But the raptor is kind of an odd choice, because not only is it a mount, it seems to be able to traverse the environment
so fast.
basically without limitations.
He's a fast
In the trailer,
boy.
we see it jump from rock to rock, and while that spot does seem to look like a predetermined.
Oh yeah, what if they bring back like because okay, gathering is so easy now, but imagine if they brought back where you had to like actually like your character actually had to bend down and like gather on the ground, and it took you like 5 minutes just to get some fucking honey. What if they bring back maps? What if you need maps again? I'm low-key hoping they bring back like at least one old concept.
Jumping spot. I do think that it implies that we're going to have a lot of freedom in how we move around the environment.
Look at him go!
Now, mobility has been a huge topic for 50.
No paintballs? You don't want paintballs? I kind of fucking love paintballs. I would kind of be really happy if paintballs came back. Because, like, okay, say they have the slinger. So, say the slinger comes back, but then paintballs are part of the slinger. I think that'd be kind of a cool concept. I think it'd be all right. Because I think one of the babyest things that World and Rise have done is to have the monsters always on the map. So I think like if they brought back paintballs, but they made like an improved version of the paintball. Like I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be interesting. And then I think a lot of the people who never got to experience the paintball system could see what it's like. Yeah, just make it infinite slinger ammo. That would be tolerable. Then like older people who never got to experience the older generations could experience what paintballing was like and not have like the monster magically appear on your minimap all the time. Like I think that'd be cool. Then we don't need fucking scout flies. Then you just have slinger ammo that's paintball instead. I would be so down for this. Also, yes, please bring underwater combat back.
Gen Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter World basically entirely retooled how movement feels in the Monster Hunter series, and Rise just went nuts with it, with wire bugs and the special moves that you could pull off. And I think that we're going to see a sort of marriage of these two approaches, a middle ground, if you will.
Yes, go Wolf!
I think that on the Raptor, we are going to have a mobility that's going to be similar to Palamutes and wirebugs together. The ability to run fast across vast plains, and the ability to jump over and scale obstacles efficiently.
I'm so excited. Okay, so like I always memed that it'd be kind of hilarious that if the raptor was just in the trailer and like you never actually got your own raptor. But I would actually be really fucking excited if like we get the raptor and we can actually do like what they do in the trailer where he like, you know, like glides to other areas and can jump high and stuff. I'd be happy.
Giving us freeform exploration in these environments that will presumably be quite beautiful and interesting to explore.
Bring back waving at a hot air balloon to reveal the monster? Yes! Yes, I love that. Yeah. So bring back the hot air balloon or whatever version of the hot air balloon they want, and paintballs and slinger ammo. I'd be down. I'd be so down.
However, I also firmly believe that the Raptor will not be usable in combat. I think that based on how the mainline games of Monster Hunter have approached combat, having the ability to fight while mounted and while having the full mobility of the Raptor would probably be too big of a...
I am okay with this. So like, I liked Palamutes in Rise, but I hated having to gear my Palamute out all the time. And like, so I want the Raptor to be just a mount and solely a mount. And then we have our cats to fight along with us. And that's that. But like, otherwise, I want the Raptor to be mount only. I don't want to fight with the Raptor. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or what. I don't want to have to deal with fucking, I don't want to have to deal with fucking Palamute gear and skills and all that shit. It's a Wilds theory video, so it's just like 10 theories about Wilds.
Disruption of the natural gameplay flow. Usually the games experiment with stuff like that in the portable games like Rise, but for mainline games like World and Wilds, they don't tend to mess with it quite as much. So yeah, I think the Raptor is going to give us enormous mobility outside of combat, but be basically unusable while you're engaged with a monster.
I wonder if he'll go over that. Yeah, because Palicos were not in the trailer at all. What if we never had Palicos again? I'm curious. I would be kind of sad, not gonna lie. I want Palicos. But I'd be sad if they didn't make it back.
The Raptor has to be called Paleopteryx. It's non-negotiable.
No.
Now, because we all know that we're gonna have to wait until 2025 for this game, some theories and approaches
yes, he used the Charlie meme. This makes me happy.
Trailer analysis have been a little silly, and I think my favorite one is people going absolutely nuts over the logo with the 6 dragon heads and trying to analyze what this could mean, what monster this could be. And unfortunately, looking back over the mainline,
oh, these are all the other Monster Hunter logos. Oh, they all have dragon heads in them. Wait, I never noticed this. Do you guys see it? Do you see it? Yeah, I never noticed that. Dose has 2 heads, Tri has 3 heads, 4 has 4 heads, World, which is technically Monster Hunter 5, has 5, and then the Wilds has 6. Dude, I'm a fake fan. Yeah, I'm a fucking fake fan. I never noticed. Dude, I don't pay attention to fucking logos. This right here is the only logo I ever needed in my life, was the basic one. Fake fan spotted. Whatever. I paid attention to this logo. The original logo. The best logo. Fuck all of you. Kiss my butt.
Games which have historically had these sort of dragon heady logos, they've rarely meant much. They have mostly just said, yes, this is a mainline game and the number of heads is the number of the game. So this is Monster Hunter 6 having 6 dragon heads. But beyond that, it's probably not possible to really get anything out of this. I do think one thing that has merit is the way the logo is introduced.
Shut up. There was the theory about this, though. Not the number of dragon heads, but there was the theory about this right here. And it was like, fuck, I can't remember. There was like some mythology about like dragons protecting like a stone or some shit, or an egg. I think it was a stone, even though it looks like an egg. It was about like 2 dragons. It would be these 2, and they like protected or fought over this thing right here. Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I looked this up. But it was a theory that was going around for a while, and it kind of it made like 100% sense. Fuck, I'll look it up after this. I'll look it up after this. But yeah. There was a theory about this right here that a lot of people were talking about. And if you look at it, it kind of made sense. If you looked at like the original mythology about it, it made a lot of sense. Second, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you. It made sense, okay? I know Monster Hunter theory crafting is like nuts and insane and a lot of like overlooking or like looking too far into things. But when I saw the actual picture for what people were basing this on, it made sense. I'll show you. I'll show you after this.
Out of this, I do think
You
one
saw
thing that
nothing.
has merit is the way the logo is introduced in the trailer, with like these water drops falling and the
Water!
ripples forming the
Water droplets, water combat. I'm just kidding. I mean, that'd be nice, but
circles inside of the logo. That seems extremely deliberate, and I do agree that that's worth investigating. Some people think that means
do you not like water combat? Do you? Do you not? Wet. I want water combat, please. I'm sorry. You can hate me all you want. I fucking love water combat and I want it back. You can hate me. It's fine. I liked water combat.
underwater combat is
Look
coming
at
back.
it. Look at his cadence. Water combat had cadence, okay?
I have thoughts on that. That'll be later on in this video. But I think what this could actually imply is that we might see a much bigger focus on environmental shifts. As I mentioned earlier, with Tokuda back at the helm, we could see a bigger focus on the ecosystem. And one thing that was basically entirely absent from Monster Hunter World was the weather, was the cycles of water and how all that got recycled and how that affected animals. Whereas in the trailer, the first thing we're shown of this
I'm
game
excited.
is the fact that the environment
That dust storm from that trailer, that really got me excited. That looks so cool. I want it.
and the weather is going to interact in interesting ways. The entire trailer is basically just the hunters surviving a massive storm and the environment
And the
being
jumping.
changed due to the weather. So perhaps this is what these water droplets allude to, but again, logos have not meant much historically in the Monster Hunter franchise. Okay, enough dilly-dallying, let's talk about the big one. Is this game going to be open world?
There we go.
Personally,
Yeah.
the trailer, as well as the name Monster Hunter Wilds, certainly gives open worldy vibes. However, I don't think we will ever get a Monster Hunter game that is fully open world. I'm talking
I agree. We've talked about this a lot. Like, I feel like almost every stream we talk about this. I think because in order to make it fully open world, we would have to sacrifice the like lobby system. And I don't think they're going to sacrifice the lobby system.
like GTA or Red Dead Redemption open world, where it's just all one big contiguous space. I just don't see that happening for Monster Hunter. It doesn't quite fit, because Monster Hunter always relies on a variety of environments and habitats to have a varied monster roster. And doing that on that scale in a way that feels natural and immersive would be pretty difficult. Think of how Skyrim made the region of Skyrim feel really small because, yeah, the play space was pretty big, but it wasn't an entire country big. So I don't really think that that would work, having to have volcanoes and ice areas and swamps all in one contiguous space like that. I think rather we're going to see an iteration and expansion of Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise's system of massive separate maps. Think of how the Ancient Forest and the Wildspire Waste are not connected gameplay-wise, they're just close together, but each one of these areas constitutes its own sort of open world.
Just please make the mapping better. Please don't make it like Age of Warriors. I can't handle that anymore.
Maybe a better example would be the way The Witcher did it, where you had big open world maps that were nonetheless separate from each other. This allows you to do specific themed maps without having to find bullshit ways in which they transition into each other. I think that's more likely for something like this, and personally I prefer it. Another something that a lot of people have been asking about when seeing this trailer is the possibility of a new weapon. Now, some of that stems from the fact that some people think the guy in the trailer has a new weapon. I don't think so, it just looks like a great sword or a long sword. They can look weird sometimes, so I wouldn't read into it too much. But, it's been a while since we've gotten a new weapon, and people keep asking about it. I don't see it. I feel like we're done with new weapons, at least for the foreseeable future.
I don't want Hunter arts back. Please don't bring Hunter arts back. I don't want them. Please, no. Don't do it to me. I don't want them.
That is because introducing a new weapon would mean essentially rebalancing the entire established formula around that weapon. Now, it's possible. We might get a new weapon. I'm not Capcom. If we do get a new weapon, I think there's really only one choice.
Is it gonna be
The one
Tonfa?
niche that is not filled is fast and blunt. We have no weapon in the game that can apply blunt damage quickly, unless you count the guns, which I don't. And with that, we have a solid candidate there, which is the Tonfas
I
from
called it,
Monster Hunter
yeah!
Frontier, which were essentially blunt dual blades with a
I have no interest in the Tonfas whatsoever, but I know a lot of people want them back, so. But I do agree, we don't have any fast, blunt weapons, so that'd be interesting. But then, would that make, like, hammer obsolete? Would you not need me anymore? Would you not need me? Don't abandon me.
couple of extra quirks. Now, if we get a new weapon,
Punch the piggies.
my money is on getting reworked Tonfas. They just seem like the most reasonable next step. I wouldn't hold my breath for it, though. As I said, I don't think this is likely. Now, just like with every Monster Hunter game, one question that immediately pops up is, what monsters are going to be in? How many
Always.
monsters will there be? Will the new monsters be any good? And look, we're not...
They will never get rid of hammer. Ryozo will not allow it. Stop. No such blasphemy allowed in my hammer main chat.
Not oracles. I can't see the future. There's really no way to predict this accurately, but we can make a couple of assumptions. First of all, I think at launch we can expect between like 28 and
Holy shit. I've never looked at these numbers before. Generations had 70 monsters, and then World only had 31? Holy shit. And Rise actually had more than World? Damn, they were slacking on the newer games.
35 monsters, like large monsters. That seems to be the general number most of these games have at the start with the base game. Keep in mind, we are talking about base games here. Expansions are a different thing. But it also could be smaller, right? If they're really trying to do like a big revolutionary ecosystem type game where many different factors have to interact with each other, if it's a game full of systems that need to be double checked and bug proofed, then I could imagine that they might do fewer monsters just because, you know, there's only 24 hours in the day and there's only so many days in a
No. They need to have, okay, if Wilds is going to be even semi open world, there has to be more monsters. You can't limit it. People are going to get bored. Did they not learn their lesson from Rise? Rise did not have enough fucking variety to it before Sunbreak came out, and people got bored, myself included. We need more variety at launch, or else everyone's gonna get bored and then just sit there and stop playing while they wait for an expansion.
development cycle. Something needs to give. And if they decide that, well, we can only do 25 monsters in 28, whatever, I don't mind that too much. I just want Monoblos back. For the love of God, why the fuck haven't we gotten Monoblos back already? It's so weird. But generally, I hope that the roster is overall more varied, closer to Monster Hunter Rise, the Monster Hunter World, because while I love World really suffered from the fact that it was basically Wyvern Hunter, right? There was a single non-Wyvern monster, and that was Rajang, which was in Iceborne and in an update.
And which is a stupid monkey, and I hate you.
So I really hope that from the get-go, we have a more diverse roster with different monster types, maybe bring in some more crabs.
Yes, more crabs, please. More crabs. I want more crabs. We need more fucking crabs. Let me bonk that shell off and see that crab pee.
If you want to start bringing in new frontier monsters like you did with Espinos, bring in Tycoon Zamuza. He's a cool crab, he's awesome, he has a cool fight, and he would fit right in. I also think it's interesting that
Crabs are the superior life form. Let's go. Hashtag Team Crab.
they make a point to not show any
No more fucking monkeys. I'm tired of monkeys. No more monkeys. There's enough monkeys. No more. Yeah, give us more horse ones, more Corinnes, more crabs, more anything other than fucking monkeys. Tired of monkeys.
own monsters in the trailer except Rathalos. But I also think they might have accidentally given something away here, because the little monkey guys that chase...
Really? You just had to hear me say no more monkeys, and now you're gonna point out that there's probably another fucking monkey?
The hunter and brutalize the pangolins, they kind of look like Gosharag, don't they?
Okay.
interesting.
Okay,
But
that I can
as
handle.
I said, difficult
Fresh will be happy.
to predict anything. Sometimes they just do crazy shit. So my hopes are just that we get the usual 30-ish monsters with a wider variety of body types and monster types. And monoblos.
It would be really cool. Okay, so like variants to me have not been like that great. I want more variants. Okay, so if Wilds is all about different environments, right? And different ecosystems, I want more variants that super affect that like ecosystem. As much as we hate fucking like Plesioth variants, that's like one of the few monsters that really has variants that adapt to like, yeah, or subspecies, whichever. Those are the few ones that actually really adapt to the different environments. But like, I want more of that. I want more that change based on what their ecosystems are in. I want more of those because that's really fucking cool. Yeah. Not necessarily more Plesioths, but I want more that are like basically the same thing, but a different because it's in a different ecosystem. That's really cool. I like that because that's fucking ecology and evolution at its finest. That is like the definition of ecology and evolution. So like, I want that.
Pretty please. All right,
Pretty
here's
please.
a spicy one. Cross-save and cross-play. Now, if you aren't aware,
I'm aware. I don't know what you're gonna say, but I'm aware. But if I don't care, okay, I will take crossplay over cross progression, but crossplay has to fucking be a thing or they fucked up. If there's no crossplay, Capcom is the dumbest fucking company on the planet, and I should just stop being a Capcom creator if that's the case, because I don't want to be associated with a game that doesn't know how to make crossplay in 2025 a fucking thing.
cross-save and cross-play, that is to say the ability to access your saves and to play with friends regardless of which console you or they are on, is one of those features that has been highly requested for the Monster Hunter games for the past few years. It was fueled when, back during Rise's lifetime, a questionnaire came out by Monster Hunter that mentioned it, and people assumed that this meant that Sunbreak, the expansion, would introduce cross-save or cross-play, which it didn't. So it's kind of been a hot topic. So the question
It's a hot topic because it's fucking necessary. Almost every game out there has crossplay now. And okay, Capcom has crossplay games. Street Fighter 6 is crossplay, right? So like, just fucking do it, Capcom. Just do it. It's not that, I mean, it might be hard, but I don't care if it's hard. Just do it. It's in demand. We need it.
is, will Monster Hunter Wilds support cross-save and or cross-play? Again, we can't know for sure. There are a couple of interesting things to consider though. Monster Hunter Wilds will launch simultaneously on all platforms except the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. See, okay. I always point this out. That on the trailer at the end, they put Steam, Xbox, and PS5, which alludes to the fact that we're getting a PC launch on release. Like, it has to happen. It has to happen. No one wants to wait 2 years for a PC version anymore.
So we'll have it on PlayStation, Xbox, and on Steam. At the same time, now that Sunbreak is over, Capcom
Another thing I point out all the time. God, I'm so fucking smart. Just kidding. The Capcom ID. They push the Capcom ID like crazy, which I think is what you need to do crossplay in Street Fighter. And they did this to get the Palamute outfit, but they also forced the Capcom ID in order for us to vote for our favorite monster and our favorite monster OST. So like that's another huge thing pointing towards it.
Capcom has done quite a bit of work in order to try and get people to sign up for Capcom ID, which is a sort of unified game login that allows you to track and connect various accounts across various consoles, be it PSN or Steam.
Is that Guts and Griffith? I see what you did there. Yes.
The fact that they're doing that, while also saying...
Okay, don't put Exoprimal on here. Don't put Exoprimal on here. That don't help. Capcom ID don't help for Exoprimal. Liar.
Saying that the next game is going to be on all platforms
Fucking liars.
does give me a little bit of hope. Capcom ID seems like the perfect way to handle at least cross-saves, to tie saves to your Capcom ID as opposed to just a local console. So
it has crossplay, but it's the shittiest crossplay ever, okay? The fact that you can't crossplay in a party is the downfall of Exoprimal. That is why Exoprimal failed, and you can't tell me otherwise.
maybe we'll get cross-save at least.
No!
I have no idea what this means for cross-play, the ability to actually play with people on all consoles. maybe that as well, but I don't know. Personally, this kind of stuff isn't really on my, like, top desired features list. I just
You
don't
suck.
care that much about it, but
How can you not care? Maybe he just doesn't have friends. You know what? Dude just doesn't have friends. I'm sorry, Oceaniz, but you need more friends. Maybe it's just like a massive streamer thing to want crossplay, because I always feel horrible when someone comes in to chat. It is like, are you on PlayStation or Xbox? And then I have to be like, no, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And then they're forever stuck on never being able to beat Fatty. And I feel so sad. But yeah, maybe he's just saying about cross save. Okay, yeah, cross save I can live without. You know, I can also live without. Sorry, Oceaniz, that I just assumed you have no friends. I apologize.
I understand that it's very highly requested, so it would be cool if they
I think
would
he's
do
talking
some
about
steps in that
crossplay, though.
direction, for sure. Alright, I promised we'd get to
It
this.
is.
Underwater combat.
Yay!
Will it come back? No.
I'm going to cry. That was... Why you do me? You know what? I'm going back. I'm going back to saying that you have no friends.
I don't think so, at least. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Now, if you know your Monster Hunter history, then you know that underwater combat was an extremely strenuous thing to develop. It derailed Monster Hunter Tri's development pretty much entirely.
Yeah, but Wilds has been in development forever too. Wilds has been in development forever. Mars, thank you for the follow. Welcome in.
We don't know exactly what happened and where the difficulty was, but from what we've heard over the years, it seems that making the game work, just making it function with underwater combat in it, was such an enormous task that it led to various features and monsters getting scrapped. Monster Hunter Tri was one of the first Monster Hunter games to downscale from the previous one. While Monster Hunter DOS included every game in every Monster Hunter series, as did Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, Monster Hunter Tri removed many of those monsters and even removed weapons because it had to focus on making underwater combat work. Not only was this such an enormous task that took so many resources, it also wasn't worth it. Underwater combat was generally not well received at the time, and while people have sort of turned around on it now, that's mostly because people get kinder to things as time passes.
No, I always loved underwater combat. Fuck you.
Underwater combat is fine, but it's not worth that much sacrifice. Not to mention that underwater combat, after all of that, still only constituted a tiny part of the game. There are just about 5 or 6 monsters in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, the expansion, that you can actually...
Oh, okay, he put here, it's actually 9 because I keep forgetting about Cadis and Ludroth. How do you forget about Cadis when you featured him in your video like at least twice by now? You literally opened the underwater segment with Cadis.
actually fight underwater. That's 5 monsters out of 50, 10%. It's just a huge sink of resources and time that just didn't really make sense at the time. It didn't pay off. Now, would they really attempt this again?
Wait, I've never noticed. Wait, does the raptor run on all fours? Does he run on all fours?
Pay off. Now,
is that him running on all fours? That's kind of cute. I've never really noticed that before. Is that's adorable if he can do yeah, because like, you know, you think of raptor and they only run on their back legs, so that's kind of cute that he runs on all fours. Oh, that's precious.
Would they really attempt this again?
He run like doggo even though he's a bird.
Games is more expensive than ever, and at such a crucial junction for the game series as a whole regarding its mainstream popularity. I don't know, I just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll do underwater combat and it'll be great this time, but I don't think so.
I want to know what that thing in the background is.
Time for some fun. Ancient Civilization. The boogeyman of all Monster Hunter loreheads. If you're not aware, the Ancient Civilization is a rather vague concept in some of the games of an ancient civilization, a group of people that had advanced technology and special knowledge about the world that just disappeared. You know the drill, you've seen mystery movies before. Obviously, when in the trailer we get to see this big spiral mountain thingy, People thought, oh,
I was just asking
maybe
about
this
that.
has something to do with the ancient civilization. Maybe the lightning rods kind of tie into it. Maybe this will be the game where we finally get all that juicy lore. I don't think so.
All of his videos are just like, maybe, no. My opinion, no. I don't think so.
I'm sorry to be such a downer about
Debbie Downer.
this stuff, but the ancient civilization is very rarely directly referenced in any of the mainline games. A lot of what people think is lore and canon about them is actually stuff that was mistranslated or falsely brought in from games like Frontier, which are dubious in their connection to the mainline canonicity. So it's hard to really even have a top-down overview of what is actually true about the ancient civilization. And the games haven't really helped since. They've barely ever mentioned them. Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise basically pretend they don't exist, as far as I'm aware. And personally, I think the ancient civilization is kind of a dead concept.
I do kind of love that, like, the community has more fucking lore theories and more lore for the game than the games themselves actually have. It's kind of adorable, kind of frustrating sometimes, but like a lot of times the Monster Hunter games are just like, dude, we just kill fucking monsters to save our village or whatever. And then the Monster Hunter community is like, but what about this?
I think we've moved past that idea, if it ever really was as big of an idea as some people say it was. I think it's much more likely that we are now going to keep hearing about various ancient civilizations, right? Like the guys who built the ruins under Moga, maybe indigenous ancient civilizations of the New World if the game takes place in the New World, the ancient people who might have lived in the Everwood and built those ruins, yada yada. Like, I just don't think there's much stock anymore in the ancient civilization mythos. If they do it, and if they prove me wrong, that would be great. You know my channel, you know what I do.
So cute.
I absolutely adore it when they give us concrete, good information about this world and its lore. So yeah, I'd be head over heels if it turned out that the plot of this game is about the ancient civilization. I just don't think that's the case. Anyway, those were just my thoughts on the trailer and some of the theories I've seen floating around. I hope you had fun, I hope you learned something, and let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree with what I said, if you have your
No. Do I agree with what he says? No.
own personal theories, I'd love to read them. It's going to still be a long time until summer, so
No,
we
it's not.
do have to keep
We're watching this now in April, so it's not that far away. It's like 2 months away. Let's go.
ourselves busy. But yeah, take care everyone. Bye. A very special thank you to all of our patrons.
Oh, patrons. Good job, people. Good job, patrons. Guy was pretty much like, do you remember this theory? No. Dude, like, shut down everything I wanted for this game. He really was just like, no. Oh, I got disconnected. My bad. I'll have to make a new lobby. It was still good, though. Man, okay. You know, like, my hype for Wilds, like, never died down. But, it definitely got reignited watching that a little bit, especially thinking about the fact that in like 2 months or so we're gonna have new news and probably a new trailer, and all of these theories, or maybe some of them, might be answered, might not. I want water combat, whatever. Hate me, I don't care. Water combat would be great. I'm gonna try to see if I can find that one thing. Dragon mythology, 2 dragons guarding egg? I found it. Okay. Wait. So here's the Monster Hunter logo, right? Here's the Monster Hunter logo. For Wilds. This is it. Right? Yeah. So, if you look, it looks like they're guarding something. Right here. And then there's this, which is like, this. Yeah, see? It's 2 dragons guarding something right in the middle. It looks a lot like it. So that's why a lot of people were like thinking that it might actually be related to that, and that like what it might be is that the end game of Wilds will be that you might be fighting 2 dragons at the same time that are guarding this. This. Yeah, so it is an actual thing. It's an actual thing. So it would be like the Chinese lore is that the two dragons were guarding this thing right here, and it's a pearl. A pearl, not an egg. But I mean, they could make it, they could change it to like, they could make it, change it to whatever they wanted. But yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, you kind of do fight two dragons at the same time in Rise. But it'd be kind of cool if they actually like, if they actually implemented that, like took a folktale and put it in there. I mean, a lot of their stuff is implemented on like actual things, but that's what I was talking about with that. That's what I was talking about with that. If you look at the logo, like they definitely put something in there. They definitely purposely put something at the bottom of the logo. Like this was not an accident that they put this right here. They did this on purpose. Like, what is this? Unless it is just a fucking egg, which I guess if it's just an egg, I'd probably be a little disappointed because that's not very creative. But they very purposely went through the effort to put this detail in here with this little thing right here. Yeah, and there's nothing else in all the other rings. All the other rings are just empty. So, like, obviously, the 6 dragon heads is because it's the fucking 6 monster hunter. Whatever, I get that. But these two are they're more prominent than the other ones. In the other monster hunter logos, the number of dragons kind of all had, like, equal representation in the logo, but these two are far more prominent than the other 4. And then there's this thing. I think they are new elder dragons. I for sure think that these are representing 2 new elder dragons, 100%. And that this is like something that's going to be related. You know, call me a crazy tinfoil hat theory crafter, but that's what I think it is. That is my opinion. I'm excited. Okay, now I'm kind of mad that I watched this video though, because like now I'm just getting more impatient for the Wilds trailer to come out in like 2 months or so. You guys ready tonight? We nut to commemorate the end and Wilds in 2 months hopefully. Wilds news. What? Niles news. Okay, you ready? 3, 2, 1, nut. Thank you for watching. It was nice to do another Monster Hunter video. I miss watching Monster Hunter videos.